Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. Welcome to the Booyah Bunch here on YouTube. My name is Ashley, and I'm here to tell you a story. This is story time, all about my experience in the multi-level marketing or MLM world with paparazzi accessories. I was with a couple before that, like in my early years, and I have some interesting views on it now after being through or been through what I have been through. But I want to tell you guys the story that what led me to paparazzi, what I feel like happened in during my year and a half in paparazzi, what led me out of paparazzi, and what I have built since leaving the company. It's a long story, and I just want to put a little bit of a disclaimer out before we get started that I am not comfortable being recorded. So like I'm a live show person. I have a decent, little following over on Facebook at the Booyah Boutique, and I'm going to explain to you where that all has come from and my whole story there. But I'm not used to this whole recording process, and I'm totally new to YouTube. So I just uploaded my first video about a week ago. We only have like about 150 subscribers, and we're just like really, really new. So please don't judge me and just kind of like give me a minute and deal with all the little mistakes because I'm sure it's not going to be perfect, and I do not know how to edit yet. I don't know how to do any of those fancy things yet. I'm trying to learn one step at a time. But I also have 5 children and a busy, successful business that I am trying to maintain as well. So I just came up and started recording in my daughter's bedroom upstairs, where it's the one place that's peaceful right now. And I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a rundown of where I came from and what led me in and what led me out of the MLM that took over my entire life. It's not all bad and it's not all good. So before we go deep into it, I also wanted to make a little, I don't know if it's a disclaimer or just like a point that I'm not here to feed any agenda on either side. I do know that there are people that are drinking the pink Kool-Aid, that are all in, that are in paparazzi for life, and that's just where they're happy and where they fit, and that's okay. I'm not here to judge you or bash your company or any of that. In fact, I'm wearing paparazzi right now, so it's not all negative. I'm not going to be doing that. On the flip side, I know that there are anti MLM creators, and I totally agree with you guys. I totally am on board with so many of the tactics that MLMs use, and many of them are used inside of paparazzi, and but not all of them are, so it's not all bad. There are some good points and some good things that paparazzi brought to my life, and I hope that you can respect the fact that I am being honest and I'm not trying to feed I'm not being one sided here. I'm not bashing the company, nor am I praising the company. I am telling my truth. Honestly, I mean, it must not have been all that great considering I left, but I am not negatively talking about the company at all because it did so much to help me and it did set me up for some great things. So I'm going to tell you guys about that. And ultimately my at the end of the day, my belief is that being anti, like all the way anti anything, is going to be like really limited in life, and like it kind of makes me feel like too judgy to be, and I'm not saying that anti MLM is judgy or that, but it kind of like, there's the people that are like all in, and I don't mean just paparazzi, I mean like direct sales MLMs, like they will seriously like have a serious like battle with you over like who is right, and they're like like all pro MLM, and then you have your anti MLM, and like I totally feel more aligned with anti MLM But I also believe that there is good that can be found inside the network marketing world if it's used in a way that can be beneficial to one's life, and if it makes them happy without taking advantage of people, and without being like that. There are people that are not like that, and if they are just doing an honest job running their network marketing business, then I don't see a problem with it. Okay, like, and I could get into examples, but there are now, obviously, like the health and wellness field, I feel like that's like almost always kind of scammy, because you can kind of find those products anywhere. And like, I will deep dive and review on those products, not so much the companies, but I want to review some of the products for my own customer base that want to know, and we could get into all of that. But I feel like there are certain fields in the MLM, in the network marketing industry, that can be more scammy than others. Okay, but there are ones that feel less scammy. But again, we'll get all into all that. I just want you guys to know that I'm not going to be completely anti paparazzi because they're an MLM. Like, they're an MLM, so we're going to just bash the crap out of them. No. And also, I'm not going to praise them and try to get you to sign up, because that's not going to happen. So I just want you guys to know that up front, before we go any further, that if you are in paparazzi and you're watching this, I have nothing against you. I love you as a human, and if it makes you happy and you're not doing any of those, the slimy tactics of the MLM, then if it makes you happy and you feel benefit from it, then I'm so happy for you. I am in no way bashing the company, not at all. I am just telling my experience, what I actually had gone through, and what led me in and what led me out. That is all. It is up to you to do your own research and decide if an MLM is right for you, if paparazzi is right for you before you join, and if you're already in and you're thinking about leaving. If this helps you, great. If you want to ask me any questions, you can always reach out to me. In the ticker below, it has our business page name, which is the Booyah Boutique, and it's spelled in the ticker, so you can look it up. I will also link it in the description. But again, I'm really, really new with this whole YouTube thing, so just kind of bear with me. Okay, so let's backtrack a little bit. All right, so I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a personal story here. So, like, sit back, relax, get your wine, get whatever it is that you're going to drink, because I'm about to give you some of my own tea, and then give you some tea of the company, of being part of the company, my experience, that is. So, the the year 2019. It's a little bit personal, but I was pregnant with my fifth baby. So I had four young children, and had recently, a few months ago, had found out I was pregnant with my fifth. Now, at this time of my life, I was going through personal turmoil, and the home that I had purchased and the marriage that had been my life, was all kind of like crumbling around me, and I had to go somewhere. We ended up having nowhere to go. So we moved in for a short time with my mom. Now, my mom passed away 1 month ago today. So that's a little sensitive area. But we were living with my mom in a one-bedroom apartment where my mom lived, and I gave birth to my fifth baby there. I brought him home to her place, and we lived there for just a few months. And then we had to leave because there was not enough room for us to legally stay there. We ended up having no other choice but than to basically live inside of our vehicle. So we had a large van. Now, we had an address. So we had an address that was falling apart, that was basically abandoned by this time. And so we had an address, and we were able to kind of like put on a front, but life was really hard, and we had to sleep there, and we had no like electricity, so we were watching videos and charging devices and things like that inside of our car. And it was the hardest time in my life. That's just the truth. I had a brand new baby and four other children. And it, again, I mean, if you can imagine, it was hard. Additionally, one of my children is amazing and she has speech and hearing difficulties. So she needed me more than ever. And my oldest child was only like just barely becoming a teenager, and it was just it was a lot. Okay, and we tried to do everything we could with like welfare and trying to get help any way we could as a single mom with five kids, and it just wasn't happening. It just wasn't happening fast enough. We were put on a waiting list, but it just doesn't happen. We were going to my mom's only once a week to get showers. Like it was really, really hard. And this is like deep dive personal here, but it's just important to know the story because in around the fall of 2019, it had finally come to a point where we just like I started looking for apartments, or not apartments. It had to be a house because I had five children, one who couldn't hear, so she would often scream and have some issues, and so like we needed the space. Could not live all in a one bedroom, two bedroom, three bedroom apartment with five kids, with all six of us. So we were looking, but I had nothing set up. I had the idea of getting child support once I was out, but at that time we still had technically the same address. We were just living separately. And so like it was just like this it had to happen like in this kind of backwards way where we had to find a place and then figure out how we were going to pay for it because we were desperate. So I start looking around, and like at this time, my credit was terrible because my credit was perfect when I bought my home. But then, when things aren't paid over the years, not by my fault, it affected my personal credit. So here I am trying to start a whole new life with five children on my own with no job, no income, no child support, nothing. And I'm trying to get into a new home for us. So long story short, we get into a home and it's way more than I could afford. So I go and I get set up for child support, and I have to get a job. Now, my mom, when I had to leave her apartment, she said, well, I'll watch the kids and you can get a job. So like that was always the plan. If I find a place, I just have to find a job really quick. So I find this place in Greensburg where I live, and it's a beautiful four-bedroom house. It's like $1,400 a month plus all utilities with no government help. And I'm like, okay, I can make this work. I just have to get a job. So they're willing to take a chance on me, and I have to make this work, right? So we move into this house. It's beautiful, and life is so like getting hopeful again and exciting again. And I start applying everywhere. I start getting callbacks for interviews. This was late 2019, and I called my mom and I said, I have this interview, and she said, why are you interview for what? And I said, Mom, what do you mean? She said, I can't babysit. I'm sorry. I might have told you that, but I am not well. I don't feel well, Ashley. And I'm like, oh, Mom, like, seriously? We're moved in. Like, we're moved in. And if I don't get a job, we're going to lose it. Like, it's like, and I didn't want to put that on my mom, but I felt like I'm sure I did. Like, looking back, I feel bad, but I was like, what am I going to do? What do you mean you can't? Well, it turns out later, 6 months later, we found out she had terminal lung cancer. She then fought for 2 more years before she lost her battle a month ago. But at the time, it was overwhelming as heck. It was so scary. And here I was. I had no hope. There was no way I could afford to live in this beautiful home without working. I can't go get a job because without somebody I know helping, because it's going to cost so much, especially having a special needs child, an infant, like five children, that's going to cost a lot. And I know trying to get government help was like so long of a process. I just didn't think it was just not going to work. So then I remembered I had lived, when I had bought my house, I had lived next to somebody who had joined Paparazzi Accessories and had become really successful really fast. And her kids were best friends with my kids. And like I helped with her kids on a daily basis. She helped with mine. We were kind of like, you know what I mean? We were kind of friends, and you know what I mean? And so I was like, well, wait a minute. There's like, I know my ears aren't pierced and I don't wear jewelry, but there's this company, and I know you can work from home because so and so had done it. And like I had no idea what it was even called. Like I just remember I remember the kids saying it was like P something. We literally sat there Googling jewelry companies that start with a P, like trying to remember what it was, specifically trying to find how to join. We didn't realize it was a multi-level marketing company. And when I say we, I mean me and my best friend and now business partner John. We were trying to figure out how are we going to make this work? And we were trying to find this company with plans to join, not realizing that you wanted to join somebody that or that we didn't even join the person we knew because I didn't know that that's how it worked. I'm sitting here like, okay, well, okay, we found the page. Now we got to find somebody to join. It says you have to find a sponsor. I don't know what MLM means. I really don't. It's just crazy because years ago, I sold Avon when I was like 18. From like 18 to 19, I sold Avon through catalogs through my mom's work, like real low key, never referred to a person. So I didn't, and then I was with Pure Romance for a short couple of months, like a couple of years after that. I never knew that either were a multi-level marketing company. I never really knew what an MLM meant or was. And so I just knew that I had to find this company and find out how to join and do whatever it took to join. So I find somebody local to where I lived and I bought a kit like that simple because I knew that I had to work from home. So I get this kit in. Now this is January 2020. So now it's perfect. I can earn my own money. I don't know how yet. I don't know how this works, but I can work. I can earn my own money. I can get child support. In between the child support and what I earn from this paparazzi business, I'll be able to pay all the bills and it'll be fine. Well, then comes a pandemic. So by March, April 2020, I now had no child support because I had no ex-husband with a job, or I had nobody had jobs. Okay, jobs were gone. So there was no support when there was no jobs. So I now have the entire weight of the world on my shoulders and we're going to lose everything. There's no way we're going to be able to survive without any income besides my own. So I started going hard. I would go live from like 9 p.m. I'd get my kids to bed and I'd go live from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. because it was back then you couldn't go live more than 4 hours. So it'd be 9 to 1, and then I would take a break. I would go whatever, sort my claims, whatever, and I'd go back on from like 2 to, I didn't usually go, for like 2 to 4, 2 to 5. And then at 6 a.m. or between 5 and 6 a.m., I had a sixth child that I babysat for a single dad who had a job in the pandemic. He would drop his son Roman off with me. And so I would have 6 kids all day. And then I repeat my paparazzi business all night. And I was just getting my toes wet in the business, but I was going hard every day with paparazzi at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. They drop new releases. Now it's being said that that is FOMO, which stands for fear of missing out, where they drop all these new releases and the hot pieces would be gone in seconds, and that is true. So I would be on there. I was good at it. Like I was good at it. I would be the one that would grab all those hot pieces and be out. And then I would get the order in and I would go live, and consultants themselves would come on my live shows, and we weren't allowed to discount anything for consultants. So I would sell for full price to all the consultants that became my followers. It soon became Ashley's Accessories, where we get it, get it, get it, get it, get it. Okay. And like we started having these fun live shows. Now we're in a pandemic. We have over 100 viewers on our live shows. We're selling out of every single box. We are killing it. We are signing people up left and right. It's the wildest time of my life. My ears still weren't pierced. So I actually, in the middle of a pandemic, pierced my own ears with Starlit Shimmer Paparazzi children's earrings. This is how deep in I was, but I didn't even know what I was in. I did not know. If you would have come to me then and said, I want to join your team, but I don't want to join an MLM, I would have said, what? Like, what are you talking about? I don't even know that I would have looked into it. I would have just been like, okay, like, I just did not know. I did not understand what I was doing or anything. And in that aspect, but we're adding people left and right. I was getting really good at what I was doing. Then that May, I had double ranked. I became a director in February. I started January. I became a director in February. And then that May, I double ranked from premier director to executive director. And then the following year, I double ranked from producer to premier producer around March 2021. Yeah, that's about right. Okay, something along the lines. When they actually sent me my plaques, one of the names is wrong. I have one that has some weird name on it. It's just a side note. But I loved what I was doing. And then once you get so far up, then the haters start to come. They really, really do. Like once you start getting really good at something or doing really well or showing numbers or showing success, like the haters start to come out. So then I started having to fight with the paparazzi compliance team like on a regular basis because I was being turned in for the simplest of things. I was suspended for and not limited to. Well, first I was canceled for life for something that they said that I was disparaging their company before I had ever done anything. Like I had started and a couple weeks later I was terminated and I had never done anything. And I was like, say what? And I got them to reverse it because it wasn't me. And then after that, I was suspended for let's see, somebody joined my team on April 1st. I enrolled 4 people on April 1st of that year, 2020, and the one of them had an order with me, and they paid for it, and then they joined. And then on the third day, they called and changed teams on me. My upline advised me to block them without thinking anything. And their order was already sent, but they didn't get their order. So they went to Paparazzi and said that they had an order with me and I didn't send it and I blocked them. So I got suspended right at new releases time until I sent them proof that I sent that order. I just send them tracking information. So like things like these, it's just crazy, right? And then early July, I was suspended for saying balls too vulgar because as we were doing these fun live shows, we had we called it the balls and the booze. Get it, get it, get it. Okay. And what it was blingo. We still do it. Blingo balls. So we kind of like we started the whole blingo trend. I never seen anybody play blingo the way we did. And when we started playing it, and all my downline, and I had over 100 personally sponsored in the first in the year that I was there. So like, and every single person that joined my downline, I give them a free bucket of balls. So so that we would all kind of match, and we called it the balls and booze, which was the booyah, which was the share word because they had told us we couldn't say share for some weird old reason. So we would say, if you shared publicly on your page and everywhere you see, you got us around the world, honey. Come back and say booyah. And so it was and we still do this. So it's kind of, so the blue is our favorite color now, but we do blue balls and booze, which is the booyah. So you would put 5 numbers from 25, write them in the comments while we're live, share the video publicly on your page and everywhere you see. Okay, and that was how you would play the games and engage with us. And we were live and we did this every single night. We still do it, and we're getting back into the live shows, my mom and all that. We kind of got distracted here for a bit. We are going to come back. If you want to have those fun live shows without the paparazzi part, you can join us at the Booyah Boutique. But again, I'm not here to bash paparazzi. I'm just telling y'all my experience. So early July 2020, I start like getting suspended every time I would go live, and I would say, "Oh, let's play with those balls. Let's get those balls out. Let's pull two balls at a time." Apparently that was vulgar. So people would turn me in like left and right. I would have to go back and delete lives. And if you're an online, if you're in any kind of online selling, whether it's MLM or independent, you know that you don't delete your content because you don't know how where your content's going to find somebody at some point, and that brings people in. You don't ever want to delete your content. And I mean, this was years ago. There was, 3 years, all 2.5 years ago now, or 2 years since that. But I kept having to delete content, and I felt like it was putting me back and putting me back. And then I kept on going. We stayed at like executive director there for a while, almost producer for like many many months, and then the turn of 2021 is when like everybody was blowing up and ranking up, and it was getting crazy, getting big, going crazy. I don't know what it was, but it was just getting really big for a while there, and that's when I double ranked again and all of that fun stuff. I was suspended another time around Black Friday slash Pink Friday, and that was for something that I was giving away gift cards. So we would do like a share, because if you can't, the compliance rules with paparazzi, that's going to be one of my downsides when I list them. But compliance rules, oh, what happened? Compliance rules are kind of crazy. And I was giving away, you would share that you can't have any giveaway tied to a purchase. So you can't say like every $10, every two pieces you purchase, you get an entry into this bucket for an extra piece of jewelry. You couldn't do that. You had to do it for shares or inviting your friends. You cannot tie a purchase to a prize, which is kind of crazy. But so I was doing share the video, and every time you share, you go on my prize wheel. And at the end of the night, we spin the wheel and we give away a $25 gift card, or yeah, I think it was a $25 gift card. I got suspended for that right at the Pink Friday drop. Like people were very like talented as far as how they hated. Like they knew when to send the emails to compliance to try to ruin my shopping during hot drops. Like that's what they did. It's crazy, but it's so true. You're not a target when you're low, low, low. And you're not even a target when you're super high up, because people like tend to fear you, or the company I feel like protects you. But when you're like in that middle where you're just starting to climb, watch out, honey. It's coming for you. So 2021 was a great year as far as my business at Paparazzi. I mean, it was booming. All right. I mean, it was booming. I well surpassed the six-figure mark, for team downline team commissions and all that. If you were to take it from the year, like like mid 2020 to mid 2021, it would have been definitely there. And it was just crazy. It was a crazy wild ride. It was a lot of fun, and it really did change my life. It gave me confidence to be in front of a camera, to get out of my shell. It made me believe that I could be more than the old used up ex, divorcee or whatever, single mom of five. Like I could be something on my own. I didn't have to be somebody's, you know, wife who was taken care of or whatever. I didn't have to just be a stay-at-home mom. I was capable. I was able to be something more than the nobody that I had always believed, or that I had recently believed that I was. I mean, I was losing everything. I did lose everything. And here I have these children that deserved so much better. And no matter what I did, I could not make it better for them. I couldn't get a job. I couldn't stay at home. I was trapped in our own life. And I didn't have family and people to pick me up, and I had to do something. And this opportunity really did give me that. As much as bad is said about MLMs and things like that, that's why I can't say all bad. Because if not for that opportunity, I honestly don't know where I would be. But while I was building all that, my best friend kept telling me, why are you limiting yourself to paparazzi? Like, don't you see that you can be more than paparazzi? And I said, no, paparazzi's my life. I bleed pink and I will die in pink. Like, hello. And he would be like, yeah, but what about the Booyah Boutique? I swear. And I'd be like, no, like, you're crazy. You're crazy. Like, paparazzi is the only, I mean, what else would I do? Like, I have to sell paparazzi. There's what else would I do? Because you get so invested that you kind of like don't bother to research to see what else is out there, you know? And so I have to say, up to that point, other than like the hate and the bad and all that, it was overall a good experience until it wasn't. Okay. So about a year ago, Paparazzi held their convention and I almost went. We missed the tickets by like a minute to go. And then I ended up having a health crisis myself with like severe vertigo. I was like blacking out, really dizzy, and I was unable to fly. And but we had just missed the tickets too. But when they went on sale again the second time, we didn't go for them. Me and my couple close of my closest teammates and I were going to go together to the convention that they have every year in Vegas in August. So we ended up missing it by just a hair. And we wanted to go so bad. So, you know, me and my team were watching the coverage every day, like posting about it. And this was the convention of 2021. You know, we were like so wishing we were there. We were so like sad. And we would say, next year, honey, next year, next year, next year. Well, everybody came home from convention last year. And all of a sudden you hear so and so died from COVID. She was at convention. Everybody make sure you get yourself tested if you were there. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, wow. And then another one, and then another one, and then a couple, and then the couple died, and then another one died, and then another one died. And I just remember it being like every day, like just being like, and like, I just remember at one point, the shock wore off. Like the shock of somebody dying wore off because it was happening so much. And I was like, what the heck? And then it all, you know, then it was revealed that these people, that all these consultants had gone to convention and they were not wearing their masks or following the CDC mandates while they were there. And I guess the paparazzi staff had declined doing some extra things to ensure the safety of everybody. But again, I don't know that that's for sure true. That's just what I remember. That's just what was happening. Like I said, I don't want this video to come across that I'm trying to hate on the company or the consultants or the anti-MLM. Like, this is just where I was at that time, you know, and what I was being told. And, you know, all this had happened. And I remember there being somebody that I had always loved and respected who had used to be in paparazzi and had no longer been. And I'm not going to call any names. I just completely respected her, still do. And she had come and told and had done a live show and had talked about the, you know, all of this happening at convention. And I remember just honestly thinking, there's no way. Like, there's no way that, you know, I mean, they decided to go. Like, what, you know, and I just remember that was such a controversial thing because you had your people that said, well, they made the decision to go, that's on them. And then you had your people that said, no, they were like, you know, you're not forced to go, but you're basically told that you won't care about your business if you don't go. And so there were both sides. And I just remember thinking at first, like, there's no way that that could have happened, you know, and I was very much in denial, but I also, you know, I was very conflicted. That's when like the conflicted feelings, the confliction began because I didn't really know what was going on and I was scared. I was scared of what was going to happen, what the future was with my business here. And all of a sudden, like, things just started to roll after that. This 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 kind of like movement started that kind of started with the deaths from convention, and then this movement kind of started to actually take down the company. So there were like live shows, and again, I don't want to like bring in too much detail, so I'm not going to, but there were like live shows every week that would like talk about the bad aspects of the company, and it kind of got widespread. And all of a sudden you seen like everybody like quitting all the time, and people were dropping like flies. And I was watching these videos and feeling like so conflicted, and here's my team like dropping like flies, and I'm scared. I have 5 children. I have this beautiful home, which I forgot to tell you guys that a year after that first home, I had found a better home that we're in now. That's a big 5 bedroom with a yard and everything. We moved up in the world into a better house, and a little bit more pressure to provide, but so now I have all this on me, and I'm like, I can't leave. Like, even if I believed all of this, I can't leave. But now that I've heard all this, it's so hard to stay and keep going. And I just didn't know what to do. And that's when I learned about the multi-level marketing structure, and I began to find anti-MLM content on YouTube. And I began to watch that and educate myself on what an MLM was and how it operated. And I soon realized that this money that I was so worried about losing essentially was the people that joined me, that trusted me to help them make a future for themselves here in the company, and were not really able to do much with it, and they were more or less purchasing to stay active, or purchasing to keep up with the FOMO, the fear of missing out on the daily new releases, or like they were purchasing a lot for more than they were actually selling. And I started to like really look at my team, and they were buying a lot, and it was making my paycheck. But I started to look and see what they were actually doing in sales, and they were not doing the volume in sales that they were doing in the volume of purchases. And then I started to talk to a few of them individually, and I found out they were taking out credit cards, multiple credit cards, and they were doing these things because they felt like they had a chance to someday be where I was. And I was just like, but for them to be where I am, they have to get people to believe that they're going to help them get where I am. And then they have to get them to keep purchasing, and them taking out credit cards, and them doing all these things to promote them, and it all started to like hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, and I'm not, if you're in the company and you're not doing those things, and you are successful and your team is successful in sales, and you don't have that, that's great. Like, I have nothing bad. Like, I'm not judging you. I am not saying that anything like that. I just can't, because of where it brought me. Do you understand? You understand that it saved my life. It saved my life. And like forever, I will always have that, because without that opportunity, I honestly don't know where I would be. Like, I needed that to learn that there was choices, that there was more, that I was capable. It built my confidence up to even be in front of a camera. I wouldn't even let anybody take my picture, let alone be on video. Okay, so even though it's an MLM, and there's people that are so against them specifically, or the MLM industry, I understand you, and I totally get there are so many bad aspects, and I've talked about quite a few of them with this company too, but they also saved my life. So I feel like if if there are people that are in that situation where they are using this as a stepping stone, and they're just learning how to operate on social media, how to learn how to do sales, how to network, and how to get out there, and that they'll use that like I have as a stepping stone, or They're just genuinely earning on sales, and the people that join them are just joining them for a discount, and they're just making a little bit of money here and there. Then what's so wrong with that? Like, I don't see that being a problem. The problem lies in how the consultants make it, how they prey on people to get them to keep buying, you know what I mean, in that FOMO and things like that. I don't necessarily believe it's the company itself trying to manipulate them. I mean, you know what I mean? I feel like there can be some good in the MLM industry, and I just don't want to judge or be negative on any side right now. Like, this is just my truth and my story. So all these things happen, and ultimately around October, I make the decision that I need to find something, because even if I wanted to stay and I didn't believe any of this stuff, everybody's leaving. I'm going to lose my check. And so now I start looking at my sales. Now, I was the one who had 100 viewers on my live shows, who would open a box with 100 new pieces in it and have 3 pieces left at the end of the night. Sometimes none. Like, John would sit and we would go, okay, sorry guys, we're sold out of that one. Okay, next one. Sorry guys, we're sold out of that one. Okay, guys, we have 2 left of this one, and we're sold out of this whole box. Who wants it? And they would get claimed. That's how much we sold. Just about every single thing. And the ones we didn't sell were the free prizes we gave. So we did not accumulate much inventory. No, we didn't. And I start buying. I mean, I'm buying 100, 200 pieces every single day. So now my LOP, my life of the party rank, is climbing. And I got platinum the first year. And I was on track to do black diamond the next year. And that's where we were with sales. And I pulled all my Square and my PayPal and my Paparazzi purchases. And I calculated, now you do this for your taxes, but I just didn't, I was trying to, I was doing a lot of tax write-offs, like you write off a lot of your stuff. So it wasn't just about profit and loss. So I just took the Paparazzi information and the Square information, and my pirate ship where I was shipping from. And I took my total income from PayPal and Square. Now, I sold goods. Like, I was not sitting on stuff and purchasing all kinds of stuff I wasn't selling. I was selling everything and thinking I was making a lot of money. And I took all my Square money, all my PayPal money, I added it together. I took away all my shipping money, and then all the money that I spent on the inventory from Paparazzi to get the stuff. Okay. And my sales were around $10,000 a month, give or take. I mean, sometimes was more. There's definitely a lot more times. So it was around 120,000 for the last 12 months. Okay. My money was about 30,000. So, I mean, and that was a little bit over 30 for a year of full time work. I'm talking, I missed so much of my children because I was on my phone all the time, on my phone, working, networking, teammates, recruiting, posting, make money Mondays. I did every single Monday to sit and tell my story to get people to join my team. That was me. I think that is so wrong now, but that was me at that time. So you have to understand where I was at that time. So now closing, the year is now ending, and I'm looking at this profit and loss report, and I'm like, I am working like 80 hours a week, and I am making $30,000 a year. This is horrible. Like, to miss out on everything. Now, my team check was very good. But my sales, I could not have lived on. Okay. So, and I was selling everything. It wasn't like I had made $30,000 profit and still had $100,000 of stuff that I purchased sitting here to sell. No, no. I sold everything. There might be a little bit of wiggle room, but ultimately, so can you make a profit with paparazzi? Yeah, you can. But you're going to have to put a lot of time, a lot of effort, and not everybody's going to come out the gate being able to sell like I was. And in fact, most people don't, which then makes you realize, okay, well, you're signing up all these people telling them that they can, and then they join and then they can't, but you keep telling them that they can, they just have to work harder. And now that I realize I was telling people that, I went through many, many phases of hating myself and blaming myself for saying these things to people. But I really felt like if they worked a little bit harder, they could get better results. And I feel so bad now because it's just how it's designed for most to fail. And that's just a fact of MLM. That's not against any one company. You're just designed to fail. But I do believe that it can be. So if I had stayed low key and not recruited, just let people join for a discount, and I worked, say, 20 hours a week, and I maybe made 10 grand a year working 20 hours a week in my part-time while I had another job or while I was a stay-at-home mom. And the only people that joined me were just so they could get a discount. They were happy with that. I see nothing wrong with that. It's not the company that I find wrong in that situation. You know what I mean? Now, where I see negatives within the company that I wish could change would just be the compliance, because, it's supposed to be your business. And I'm just being my honest self. It's supposed to be your business, and you're supposed to be in control, and it is you are the owner, the CEO of Ashley's Accessories. We're gonna get it, right? You're supposed to be the owner, but they can take it away, all the downline that you build, all the commissions, all the sales that you get from your website, everything. They can take it away in a second because somebody said that you did something wrong. And if they can prove any kind of fake proof, you're done and there's no getting out of it. That's scary. So if you're thinking about joining, or you're in the company and you're wondering if you should stay, that's kind of scary. And that's one thing that I really hoped that they would change with all of this. With all the hate that kind of came out, I was hoping that they would change a few things to try to, make compliance a little bit less aggressive. And then I was hoping that they would make it like less percentage going to an upline, and then lowering the cost, because then that brings me to when I was scared to leave. I was scared to leave because I now had to provide for 5 children by myself, right? So I start looking into alternatives, and it took a lot of research, a lot of time, but I did. And I poured my heart and soul into research. And I found that I got a business license and I made business connections all around the world. And I now can order things for a fraction, like, for example, this is paparazzi. Okay, well, let's say this hat. For example, I pay like, say, $4 or so for the hat, maybe $6 with shipping or something. And I sell these hats for $18 to $25. So, and that's the going price. So I learned how to make these business connections with people all around the world. And now I'm using the experience that I had building a team inside of Paparazzi. And I'm now helping a team of people called my affiliates that are now going to buy products the way I do. And I'm going to help them and teach them how to run a business the way that I have built outside of MLM. So, not to diss MLM, but I have now built the Booyah Boutique, where we are quite unique and we get it, okay? And we still play the games with the balls and the booze, and we have like so much fun. And we are now building an affiliate program to help people who want to build a boutique but don't want to be a part of another direct sales company. I strongly advise, if you're looking for like any kind of boutique, don't join a boutique MLM. Like, the boutique MLMs are just so scammy to me because you're literally making like 20% off of things, and I can show you where to make 60%. I can show you, and we are branching ourselves into more things. And eventually I'll have videos on here for that. But right now it's for affiliates. And, it's just amazing what I have built after leaving. And it's amazing the price that I was able to get on things. Okay, so here's a bracelet. This is like a stack bracelet with moonstone beads. Look at this, okay? Look at this, look at this. It has a charm that says love, and a charm that's like a four-leaf clover charm. Sorry, I'm not used to this recording thing. Okay, you see that? I mean, that's like less, probably $1, okay, that I buy in bulk or so, and it's $5.95 on my website, and we sell these like crazy. So the fact that you're paying $3.10 or so with tax, and if you sell it, you make $5 back if you sell it. So that tends to be like where you stock up on inventory, you're not sure if you're going to sell. Whereas there are better ways, you know, but they also have their own. Now people have tried to debunk that they have their own line of products, but they really do. Yes, there's a lot of like duplicate products that I have found while doing all of my wholesale work with different companies. I have found a lot of very similar products, but there are products that cannot be matched. You know what I mean? Like, I have not found this exact necklace, for example, right? So, or these exact earrings. I can find you something just as good that you can buy for $1 and sell for 6 or 7. That is true. So if you want to do that, you can do that with our program or on your own. But but you can do, because paparazzi is mostly their own stuff, it's kind of like it has its benefits too. So if you want to do it and you're not doing anything slimy to make it, go for it. Have fun. If you want to get out and you want me to help you, reach out. If you're looking just for a boutique, I strongly suggest reaching out before you do that. And that's kind of what I mean by it gave me my start. It gave me the confidence and the hope to build something bigger than myself, to be more than I ever thought I could be. And it kept me from being homeless. Like during a pandemic, when we were all facing homelessness pretty much, but I was able to build a business through that, even though I didn't realize what it was at the time. And once I realized what it was, I got out of it and I built my own independent company. And now I'm helping other people who want to get out of it and build their own companies. But I also support those who want to be inside of it. And that's just where I stand, because I don't feel like it's my place to judge anybody if they want to be in the company. And I do realize that that's going to make people, I'm sure there will be comments on here that people are against what I've had to say because they are all anti or all in, and I don't fit in either one of them entirely. This was just my story, that I came from living in my car with 5 children to building into the top 1% of an MLM, and then changing everything. I gave up my commission check. I gave up everything. And when you quit a cult like that, and I'm sorry, but it's not a cult, but it is very cult like. And when you leave any kind of company like that, everybody turns their back on you and blocks you. People that have been friends with, not even on my team, but just friends for years, blocked me, wanted nothing to do with me, because I'm not all in, so I am all out. And that's hurtful. And that just showed me more that I made the right decision to walk away at that time. Now, I totally support my friends that are on the inside. I purchase off of them. There's a lot more I could get into with lead and nickel claims and things like that. But I really just don't want to get too controversial. I'm not trying to bash one side or do any of that. I just wanted to tell you guys what led me into paparazzi and what led me out. So the positives are it can give you a start in the social marketing, social selling field. And I mean, any MLM can do that. It can kind of just give you that like feel of what it's like to just like be selling online and just kind of set yourself up to be like, this doesn't have to be forever. I just want to like get a feel for how they train you to sell online. I wouldn't do cold selling or cold messaging and all that stuff. But you can learn about the different structures and how they work as long as you're not promising people to make a lot of money. The whole full-time income with part-time work is not even allowed to be said for the FTC, but like that bothers me. And then health claims with these health and wellness MLMs. So this is going to reduce your fatigue and improve your mood and give you all this energy and help you sleep all at the same time. It's magic. It's going to help you lose all this weight. It's going to do this. It's going to do that. And it may help along with diet and exercise, but you're probably going to lose the same weight. And most of those supplements, if not all, could be bought outside of the MLM for a fraction. I'm talking like you can find like an $80 product. And I'm not saying this is all health and wellness MLMs. I'm not. I'm saying there are some. There are some products in a specific MLM that I love that are health and wellness. Not because of the health claims, because I just love them. And that's okay. That should be okay. I shouldn't feel like I can't use a product because of the business structure that they use. That's just where I am, where I don't want to limit myself to any one thing. I want to support everybody. And so, but when they claim all these things and then you look up the ingredients and you can literally like this is $90 here and you can buy the 3 ingredients on Amazon for like $14 for all 3 and they do exactly the same thing and the reviews are raving. You know what I mean? And then you like take a chance and you buy the $80 one and you're like, okay, it's not any different. But they'll market it to you that way and they have to raise the price because they have to pay all their uplines. For example, why are these $2.75 plus tax when you buy them as a consultant with Paparazzi? Why? That's not what the companies charge, or that's not what the company's paying for them when they buy them. They have to make their money. But then instead of just them making their money and giving it to you for what they get them for with a little bit of profit for themselves, they have to give profit to your upline, their upline, their upline, their upline, the infinity bonus on the next upline, the generational bonus on the next one. You know what I mean? And it goes up, goes. They have to have that, even if it's a few cents going on down the line. The 275, if there was no upline, you could probably purchase this for 90 cents. But it has to be 275 so that your sponsor can get 27 cents and their sponsor can get 14 cents and their sponsor can get 14 cents and their sponsor can get 5 cents and their sponsor can get 5 cents and their sponsor for each piece that you purchase. If you cut out all those middle people, you can find wholesale products and jewelry very similar, if not some are very, very similar, but they are also a lot of unique designs. So, like the Flower Z that was just recently came out, I still had from before, but it just got re-released again. Like you can't find that exact piece elsewhere. That is something that they have exclusive to them. So if you want things that are specifically that product and you want to get it at a discount, you want to join for that reason, then I don't feel like you should be limited to not doing that just because of the structure that they are. But I would not join any MLM in efforts to earn a full-time income with part-time work because you're probably not going to do that. nor would I join because of all the health claims and thinking that you're going to help all these people get healthy and lose weight, because you're probably not. So there are a lot of truth to, it's 90 was it 99% failure rate in MLMs. So just do your research. The bottom line is do your research. There are good things and bad things, I believe, about every multi-level marketing company. And I'm not going to come on here and completely bash any company just because I had some experiences with them and I had decided to leave. That's not going to happen, because I have a lot of friends that I love and support who are doing this and trying to build a life for themselves. And this could be that opportunity that they needed to parlay themselves to the next phase of their life. This could be that opportunity that gives them the confidence to take the leap of faith to build something on their own, you know? Or this may be just enough to get an extra $50 for their gas tank every month, and that might be sufficient for them. And it shouldn't be my decision to tell them that they're wrong or that nobody should buy any of these jewelry products because they're so bad. I just don't want to take that stance. But it doesn't mean that I don't love and appreciate the anti MLM creators, because they are spot on and I love them and I respect them and I adore them. And they are just amazing. And I totally agree with so much about them, but I just also want to support those that I love and be honest that it did give me the confidence to help me grow something. Now, if you do want to support my company that is not an MLM, it is the booyahboutique.com and at Facebook at the Booyah Boutique. And I hope you guys enjoyed this long ass video. I did not mean for it to be like that, but once I get talking, it's hard to stop. And I'm actually going to make the first training video for the affiliates here soon now too. So you guys rock my socks. I love you to bits and booyahs. I hope you like and subscribe and come back for more, because I'm going to learn how to do this damn thing. I am. I'm going to learn how to do it really, really good. And I'm going to make some really wicked content. I'm going to. It's just going to take a minute. I'm going to suck at first. It's going to suck for a while. It will. It will. But we're going to keep on doing it, and we're going to let it suck, and we're just going to get better. I love you guys to bits and booyahs, and I'll see you next time. Booyah.